down to size. There we go. Our camera is all set. I'm feeling really good. Really happy to be here right now. I'm feeling really excited for this segment. I've been really looking forward to trying some new stuff on here. And of course, most of my stream is about Blender and 3D modeling and my journey through learning it. But I also am here because I want to say things to everyone. I think tonight is going to serve as an introduction to some of my philosophical inquiry over the years. Also, certain ideas that I have that, if not original, are important to be said so that they are in the public sphere. I don't like being the center of attention, but I do think that I have important things to say, and I think that my perspective as a trans person at this day in history is very important. And I also just want to say that this music is me, and I love it. Music is my favorite thing. This is Manuel Ponce's Sonata Romantica. I was actually just playing piano on the break just to sort of relax before I talk about philosophy and some of my ideas. This is very intimidating to me because I don't feel particularly smart, but I do think that I have interesting ideas, and I'm not much of a debater. I'm not here to debate. I am here to share and express my ideas, and that's what they are. I like to share my ideas with the world and put them out, and then let you do with them what you will. We can disagree on things because I don't think we'll ever understand the world entirely. That's the whole point. But I think I have some ideas that some people might like, and in particular, my ideas concern the future. They concern the future of our world, our shared world that we are both standing on. I mean, I'm sitting, maybe you're sitting, you're probably sitting. Maybe you're in the kitchen cooking or something if you're checking this out. We're going to be talking about some big concepts tonight. Before I get into it, before I totally dive in and lose track of where I am talking about philosophy, I would like to just raise attention for House of Threes. It is a charity that raises money for queer people. It helps them pursue their projects and live their lives. And if you have anything you can go, information is on the About Me section of my site. And if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy listening to me, if you enjoy the space, if you like learning about gender, 3D modeling technology, or just seeing someone cute rock a jacket, then you're in the right place. And I'd really appreciate a follow. Everybody will just tune in and listen, but a follow really does help me because I'm just starting out, and I'm really hoping that this can be a real expression of myself to the world, and that I can bring some original content to the ever-expanding internet world that we're in. I'm also going to be writing down some stuff on screen so that we have some stuff that's kind of up, but you can't see my screen. That's okay. We'll just chat for a little bit, and I'll share. I'll work on some stuff on screen that I can share later. How about that? How about I go, and what I'm gonna do right now, you can't see what I'm doing. Why don't I change to my view just so you can see? It's no fun being alone. It's no fun just listening, I guess. Well, maybe some people are here just to listen. I'm gonna open a PowerPoint. I know that's probably weird. Oh wait, I don't even have PowerPoint on here. I can use Google Slides though, right? You know, I built this computer, I scraped together the money. I had basically nothing, so I have not purchased any of the Office suite. This computer is barely running. I have very little on it except for free programs, which I think is a lot of people's situation. But we make do with what we have, and Google Slides is pretty darn good. Wherever it is. Here it is. Oh my gosh, that's so loud, but beautiful too. Let's turn it down, even though it's good. And that is Soar's study number 8 or 10 or something. It's one of Soar's pieces. Credit to my roommate for doing my hair today. It is just outstanding. I'm very lucky. I feel very, very cute. And that is good. As hopefully other people agree. Okay, so we're opening a Google slide here. And we're just gonna open up a new one. We're just gonna make a new one. And what are we gonna title it? What is the title of this gonna be? You can see my screen. What's the title of our talk? We're basically making a talk, right? I'm gonna be just riffing on some ideas that I have here, and I don't know what the main thesis here is, but I'm gonna start with a word that's really important to me that a lot of people don't know anything about. And that word is technosticism. Technosticism, it's a mouthful. It is a mouthful. We're gonna talk about what is it? We're gonna talk about why is it important. We're gonna talk about who I am in relation to this. And this is just a place to start. Let's get another slide in here. Let's do new slide. How do we do that? Insert. We're looking for a new slide. Great. And so what are we gonna start talking about? About my background. Let's start with my background and let's just talk about some of the things that I've done in the world. I'm just gonna leave this on the screen so that you can kind of have it to reference. In my background, my name is Paige. Why don't we just write that on there just so that everybody knows? There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're gonna go down here and we're gonna say I double majored. What did I double major in? I majored in philosophy. And what else? Music. Music is what I double majored in. Now we're gonna paint. We're gonna do some lines here, and we're gonna do some arrows. So in philosophy, and then we'll do a couple arrows here, because there's a couple things that are sort of my ish in these disciplines, right? So let's add some text boxes here, because we're just making notes so that you can see what I'm saying. So I play classical guitar. Alright, classical guitar. Classical guitar. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I played piano. I played classical piano. And what else did I do? Oh yeah, also music history is a big thing for me. Music history. It's always been the stories behind the music for me that count the most. I love talking about pieces before or while I play them. And I've talked about this piece on stream before. This is Fantasia Pereloso un Gentle Hombre by Joaquin Rodrigo, who is a famous Spanish composer who wrote this guitar concerto, even though not only did this composer not know how to play guitar, but they were also blind. Very interesting. Love music history, love classical guitar, love playing guitar music on piano, which is what I'm doing in this very recording we are listening to. Okay, in philosophy, what I study? What did I study? I studied Asian philosophy. I was that person. I was that person from Boston who just was obsessed with East Asia. And we also liked, what did we like? We loved the philosophy of science. Exclamation points. I love the philosophy of science, and that's most of what we'll be talking about tonight is in the realm of the philosophy of science. We are in that realm. And you know, why don't we get like a nice little cute little background in here? I like this, but we're gonna change the colors. We're gonna change the colors of the pages. What is our background color? Let's see how we change it. Background, and our color is gonna be a nice little peach. I think that's beautiful, especially on here. Here we go, like on the, oh, but the background's already mint. I don't want to mess that up. What if we just add in a shape? Nice colors. This shape isn't completing. I really love making PowerPoints, honestly. It's always been very fun for me to make PowerPoints, and I figure it's a good way to just display the things that I'm saying as I do it. And I'm just having fun like filling it right now with colors, and we're gonna send it to the back. We're gonna send it to the back. Order, send to back. Look at that. What a beautiful thing so far. And we can just change our arrows and stuff if we really want, just so that like it actually is in a spot that makes any amount of sense and you can read it. But I mean, it already is like fairly legible, right? It's pretty close. And we're gonna get back on track here in just a second. Yeah, so these are the things that I studied formally in college. What else did I do? What else is important about me? Well, let's see. How about we put in a text box here, and we write that I was in the army. Whoa. Whoa. Who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming. We'll put that in bold. And I was what? What was I? 35 mic human. Whoa. Maybe we can talk about what that is more, but that was what I did. I was in the army for that. Let's put a little dash, and let's put a, I talked to people. Learned how to develop logical, strategical plans and communicate / disseminate information. That's pretty relevant. That's pretty relevant. So I was in the army for 6 years in addition to going to college. It taught me how to question things, that job. It taught me how to question, and philosophy taught me how to question. It taught me how to put together a logical sequence of questions to gain insight into things. It's all very philosophical, you see. That's a little bit of my experience, but I have more experience than this. I also taught music. We don't need to write that down on here because that's basically the same thing. Another piece of experience here is that I do social work currently. Social work. Social work's kind of crucial to this because of my mission, and we'll be talking about that a little bit. Social work. I care about the underclass and hope for an egalitarian future. So that's why that's particularly relevant. We'll underline that. What else have I done? Technology. I have used computers my whole life, built my beautiful computer, and am interested in technical policy and technical evolution. So this is kind of going in combination here. If you see, we have the philosophy of science going directly into technology, and I've also just used computers my whole life. My dad was a computer programmer. We always had a computer in my life, and I'm realizing I'm missing my thermos right now. I'd really like to have a drink really quickly, so I'm gonna very quickly mute, step out of the room, and I will be right back to continue speaking. One moment, please. I actually feel like really nice about what we have going on here. We can sort of flip back and forth between the slides that we're making. We got good music going, and we're talking about exactly what my sort of background is on these things. Is there anything else relevant? I guess I'll also add in here that I just have a wealth of personal experience from adverse life situations and being transgender. And so broadly speaking, this is a very like short summary of the things that sort of give me a unique perspective on the things that I'll be talking about, not just tonight, but also in the future. And it also gives a little bit of a unique perspective on the context of this channel where I'm learning Blender on a stream. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to keep going. So why don't we add a new slide? I think it's Control M. Look at that. I'm learning so much so quickly. Let's make a peach background because it's cute. Let's add a title. And what's the title of this slide going to be? We talked about who I am. Why don't we talk about novelty? Novelty. And then we're going to put in parentheses versus habit versus habit. Novelty versus habit. Okay. And we'll bold this second one. Novelty versus habit. That is a very crucial step to this. This will be unboldened so that the second one looks a little bit more bold. I don't know why we're doing two. It's okay. It doesn't even really matter. So anyways, so we're going to talk about novelty. Novelty is a word that a lot of people take for granted. What is novelty? A lot of people think that novelty is not really a main facet of life, but I think that novelty exists in many, many, many things. Novelty, I'm going to write my own sort of definition here. Novelty is the quality of improvisation leading to new method of completing tasks. we'll leave that for now, and we might change it. We might change it. What is habit? Habit is the pathway through tasks formed through repetitive processes. The pathway through tasks formed through repetitive processes that is fallen into over time. We don't even need the ending. The pathway through tasks formed through repetitive processes. We might change these definitions here. Why don't we make this bold right here? Habit versus novelty. What is habit? What is novelty? I wonder what they are. Let's make this bold. Let's make this bold. We're going to be talking a lot more about what they are, but let's make a new slide, and we're going to change the background to be peach again. And we're going to even make just one or two more slides, just so that it's done. We can copy, we can paste, and we can paste, and we can paste. And we just have a couple more slides to go here. And so we're going to talk about Terence McKenna. Terence McKenna talks about telos and Socrates. So Socrates tells us, we're gonna unbuild this. Well, what is telos? Telos is function. Comes from teleology. 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 Function, i.e., knife to be sharp. Socrates comes along, and Socrates says the telos of human beings is to be good. And you should note the capital G, good, because he was talking about the form of good. And so we could talk about what that is at another time, because basically what he's saying is that our function as human beings is to be good. We are supposed to be good. Just like a knife is supposed to be sharp, we're supposed to be good. Terence McKenna disagrees. Terence disagrees. Let's write that. Terence disagrees. I hope I'm spelling his name right. I'm not even sure. Terence argues that the function of a human being, function, or telos, all right? Or telos of a human being. And we're going to call this, technosticism is a good enough name for this. Thanks for anybody joining. I hope that you're enjoying the talk if you're here. We are talking about philosophy, and we're making a little PowerPoint just to sort of get everything on screen that I'm talking about. And I'll be able to flip back and forth as I reference things. So Terence argues that the function or the being of the function or telos of a human being is novelty. And if anyone's interested in these slides, I can give them to you too. Novelty, we'll make that italic. And we define novelty on the last slide. Novelty versus habit. Novelty is the quality of improvisation leading to new methods of completing tasks. And what is habit? Habit is the pathway through tasks formed through repetitive processes. We might be able to word these a little bit better, but they're good for now. And Terence is saying that the telos of humanity is novelty versus habit. So that's a lot of facts. We've gotten a lot of facts, and they're seemingly disparate, random facts. Very, very little. We talked about who I am, which is that I studied philosophy, was in the army, I do social work, I love technology. I have a lot of interesting personal experience in my life that we don't need to talk about right now. That's what we talked about, and then we sort of started talking about philosophy here. Hi! I love that you're here. Thank you so much. And we're talking about novelty versus habit right now. And we're talking about novelty being the telos of humanity and what that means exactly. Because the thing that I want to talk about in particular is virtual reality and the evolution of technology. Why don't we call this the evolution of technology? And then we can also put and society in a certain way here in parentheses. And there is a very famous acronym. And what is that acronym? It's GRIN. GRIN. And then, so what does that stand for? So, GRIN is genetics, robotics, information, technology, and nanotech. we could finish tech, but we'll just keep it on the same line here, just for the formatting. So grin. What is grin? What is grin? Grin is the broad fields that correspond with converging technological development that some speculate will lead to period of unhinged growth. And we can change these things. We can change these things. These are things that I've just talked about so much in my life. I'm very interested in them. And so like it'll be nice to have some sort of like a PowerPoint to have like hold on to in the future, just talking about technology. But also it's just fun to talk about on stream, and I think it's important. So we're gonna put ... there, and then we're gonna say so the singularity then question mark, and I'm gonna write not exactly ... not exactly. So we'll write on this slide, the title of this slide is going to be singularities, yugas, eons, minutes. Okay, that's the title of this slide. A lot of people, first of all, I'm not a singularity. I'm not a singularity theorist in one key difference. You can argue I am in a certain way. Typically, singularity theorists posit the singularity as an end. Period. I believe it is a beginning of a paradigm shift. Okay, that's kind of the thesis statement, to be honest. That's sort of the thesis statement in a way. And we're going to learn what that means. We'll talk about anti-realism really quickly because I use the word paradigm shift. Anti-realism. And we'll write scientific anti-realism. And we're going to go into Thomas Kuhn's structure of scientific revolution. It might be just revolution. Paradigm shift. So the idea of a paradigm shift is that significant technological discovery changes the way technological / scientific discovery changes the way all following science is conducted, and the way reality, and further the way we perceive reality. So Thomas Kuhn is arguing here that in the structure of scientific revolution, he is arguing that, there we go, that's what we're looking for. Now we have to do the same thing here, unfortunately. So we're going to bring that there. We're going to pull it all the way up to 1. We're going to bring this top one over here. And that's pretty nice. Okay, so we'll talk about this paradigm shift situation. Scientific anti-realism is idea that Thomas Kuhn talks about, basically claiming that we can't know the truth. We can't know definitively the scientific truth. Science is changing all the time, and even the way that we practice science is changing. A paradigm shift is when something happens that's so revelatory that we actually change the entire way that we perceive the universe and practice science within said universe. So Thomas Kuhn says that paradigm shifts happen often. Well, not often, but paradigm shifts happen every so often. It doesn't matter like how fast or how slow they happen. But in in the greater conversation that we're talking about right now, we are observing the trend that technology and scientific revolution is happening faster and faster and faster every single day. We are learning more, and our technology is advancing at an extremely fast rate. We have yet to enter a paradigm shift, except for potentially we might have with quantum physics and quantum mechanics, but it isn't really widely recognized, at least by the public, to my knowledge. That's just to my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, let's duplicate these slides here. Let's just make a couple of these here. And so we're talking about scientific anti-realism and paradigm shifts because as we discover technology and science, as we do these things, Thomas Kuhn is saying that because we're always like aiming at this thing, but our methods are always changing, we can't exactly know the truth. There's no way to really rely on scientific thought. That's a skeptical argument that I don't know if I entirely agree with, because it's sort of an epistemological argument that science is not to be relied on in a certain sense. And I do think that we can rely on science. I think that a lot of what calculus is talking about the fact that, like, sometimes close enough is what you have to work with. But maybe I am wrong. I'm not a mathematician. I just studied the philosophy of science. I'm doing the best I can in that regard. But I want to talk about some specific technologies. And I want to talk about my role here on this channel and just some of my thoughts. And so, VR, I'm just going to write down a bunch of technologies: VR, AR, AI, and then we have nanotech, and then we have robotics, chemistry, biology, and then we have genetics. We'll leave it at that. Let's just make this all smaller so it fits on one line here. Okay. I am a big advocate of science. I'm a big fan of it. Maybe that's obvious because I'm a streamer. I built a computer. I have a pretty high-tech setup that I saved for a long time for. But these things are all very scary. A lot of people don't understand technology. A lot of people fear technology. And I want to use this channel as a space to talk about technology and talk about very radical things in technology. Extremely radical things that a lot of people either haven't seriously considered, or things that people might even be afraid to consider. Because I think it's my responsibility as a citizen of this planet to share different ideas about these things, because it's all going to be very real very fast when things start to happen, and they already are happening. Advances in 3D printing, which is another one. Let's just continue the list. We got 3D printing, and what else do we have? Lab grown meat and agricultural advances. There's going to be renewable energy, slash nuclear energy. I think everything that I can think of is there right now, but, like, I mean, everything's changing, right? So, I mean, we're going to be learning more about neurology too, neurology and medicine, neurology, medicine, and actually in particular, I am interested in the juxtaposition of virtual reality and brain computer interfaces, which is a very scary thing, and it should be. It is very scary. And people who don't know why it's scary don't understand, and people who don't know about it are kind of lucky because they don't have to think about it. But we're here to think about it because someone has to think about it in order to come up with good borders for how we treat these technologies in society. Nobody is talking about brain-computer interfaces, and we are here to break the silence on brain-computer interfaces. I cannot promise to have all of the answers on brain-computer interfaces. I cannot promise to have all of the answers on brain-computer interfaces. I have ideas. I've thought about it extensively. There is a lot of scary potential with brain-computer interfaces, but there's also a lot of wonderful potential with it. I'm particularly interested, as I just wrote, in the sort of intersection/juxtaposition of virtual reality and brain computer interfaces. Okay, and thank you all for joining me. I hope that if you are here and listening to me, you are enthralled on the edge of your seat, because I am on the edge of my seat talking about these things. These are the most cutting edge topics. These are the most important topics. No one is talking about them except for us here. This is Gender Blending. I am your transgender host, and I am here to talk about philosophy, and I hope that you're excited to hear about it. We've been talking about all the different types of technology that are converging, and you could call me a singularity theorist in the sense that I think that all these things are going to evolve to a point where we can no longer understand the changes that are happening anymore. We're not going to understand the changes that are happening. It's already probably happened in a lot of ways, but we're approaching a point where technology is going to shift and our lives are going to change dramatically. And I have a lot of theories about it. In the most optimistic situation, I think that we might not even notice anything happen when it happens. One of the examples that I always talk to my friends about is, do you remember the day before you had a cell phone? And then do you remember the day after you had a cell phone? And often nobody remembers the difference between those 2 days. And when brain computer interfaces go live for the general populace, the ideal situation is that nothing changes. And that's one of the thesis statements here. There's a lot of thesis statements, but one of them is that ideally, if computer interfaces happen, then we will not notice anything. That's the ideal situation, honestly. There's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential. And it's hard to talk about these things because it's so broad. Look at this. We're already at 7 slides, and there's 7 slides with a lot of content. There's a lot of background. We've already been talking here. It's 9:19. How long is that? We've been recording for 56 minutes. It's been 56 minutes, and I haven't even gotten to practically the point yet. And we're going to keep going because it's important to keep going. We're going to be talking about all these things. I'll talk more about it on the next episode because I feel very impassioned to talk about these things. And they're all extremely important. But I'm going to tie together the loose threads as much as I possibly can. And I'll probably keep harping on certain points because I think it's all extremely important. I want to write a slide here, and I just want to write climate change in big bold letters. Climate change. Climate change. This is what shouldn't be unpopular. We need to do something. And that's going to be in bold. We need to do something. I don't know the best things to do. I don't have a strat. I don't have, we don't need this to be bold. I don't have the best strat, but I have ideas. Also, I'm young at least, and I have a broad array of talent. Actually, I'm gonna just get rid of that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about me. I want to save space for the content. I want to save space for the content here. We need to do something. I don't have all the best ideas. It's no surprise it's getting worse. No surprise it's getting worse. Anomalies, temperature anomalies occurring more. Temperature / weather anomalies are occurring more and becoming more extreme. No one in mainstream media is talking about climate change or talking about it in the right way. And then finally, most, if not all, political commentary centers around human-generated issues. Okay, so most people know all these things. I'm not really saying anything new here, but I just want to keep going. We're just going to keep adding content in here because we can tie up the threads of content as we go here. And if you're interested, please follow. You can come back and we'll talk about these things more at length. I have so much to say, and if anyone watching has any questions about any of the things that I've said, please don't hesitate to ask because it's going to take a long time to talk about all these different subjects. But we're just getting a start on it today, and it's all very important. And I do believe that I have a lot of really helpful ideas for a lot of different things, including global warming. And a lot of what we have to do is through the use of technology and also social policy. We need to change the way that we live. There was actually a person named Jankovici, Jean-Marc Jankovici. Will technology save us from climate change? No, it will not. He tells us resoundingly technology won't help us with climate change, and it won't. Social justice and social change is the only way that we're going to combat climate change, and that's good because it's an easy change. What do brain interfaces have to do with this? What do brain-computer interfaces have to do with all this? Brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. Let's go ahead and capitalize these. Brain-computer interfaces are mediators between our actual nervous system and, well, our actual brain, like our brain, are mediators between our brain signals, our neural network, our actual neural network, and a computer and a computer. That's what they are, basically. These already exist. That's important. These already exist. I was reading that, I mean, first of all, the technology does already exist, even if they haven't done human trials. But they have been able to have, at least archaically, I don't know if I spelled that right. It's not correcting me, so I'm going to leave it for now, and I can maybe spell check later. Archaically exists, at least, to allow paraplegic to type paraplegic people to type with brain instruction, I guess I'll call it. That's probably not the right word for it, frankly. We'll bring this back and we'll fix our formatting, which we are getting better at doing reliably here, which is always good. And we're listening to Claire de Lune. This is me playing the piano. I love music quite a bit. My other degree was in music from philosophy. Anyways, brain-computer interfaces. So what are these going to let us do once they're in the general public? What will these do? Don't bring that over yet. We're going to bring this up. Here we go. There we go. And we are going to say, what will these do? Talking / texting without cell phone input. Web browsing without cell phone input. ... etc. Anything you'd touch to type. Anything that you would touch to type, you will be able to do just by thinking it. And it's gonna be pretty wild. It's gonna be pretty wild. It's gonna seem like magic to a lot of people, and it will be magic. It is kind of magic in a lot of ways, but it is happening. It's gonna get more and more advanced as time goes on. With AI, there's going to be medical implications of brain computer. We'll just put BCIs because we know what they are now. Medical implications of BCIs. By learning the nervous system through AI, we can send signals to stimulate previously paralyzed areas of the body. I guess I'll put areas of the body. Much more. I don't know much about the medical implications entirely, but there are lots of things we can learn and feel via this technology. I don't even know the beginning of these implications, and it's something that I'd like to read about and talk about more. We're just going to leave space for that on this slide. We're going to add some more slides here, and we'll go ahead and fix the background and make some duplicate slides. Getting back to Novelty. Well, yeah, let's just get back to Novelty. Getting back to Novelty. We have the kilos being novelty. But what does that mean? What does it mean for our function to be novel? My answer. We are here to create infinite realities and experiences through merging technology, including VR, AR, BCIs, and more. That's the sort of short answer here, is that we are to create infinite realities. And we could go on and on about this forever, but we've been droning on already for over an hour, and I really want to get to the last portion of the show. So we are going to take a break here. I wish I could go on. I really do, but I have to keep it under time so that I can finish up nice and early enough. We will just keep this train rolling. I will go ahead and I am going to post this online on YouTube. So if you're ever interested, you can check it out then. And yeah, we're going to return to this either on Thursday or on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to it. I am going to go on break right now. And I'm really looking forward to getting back and just working on my picture until we watch a video and call it a night. So thank you very much. We are going to go and be right back.